Hey, I finally started to actually fix my audio in the sense of that one thing that I've done is realize that the way why I couldn't hear myself properly, not get enough feedback from the microphone, was because Windows, the operating system, have turned down the microphone in itself. So I actually needed to just go into the driver settings and turn up the volume in there. So that was something I didn't realize I had a problem with, but easy solution. I just didn't know about it. And yeah, I've fucked about a little bit with the audio delay. Didn't it hasn't gone great. I think this take actually might be more synced with audio. It took quite a few tries. And I don't know, it's something I haven't bothered to do, but it reduces quality so much, really, of the audio or of the whole video because I I literally get retarded in the right sense that I get delayed, and I will look also dumber than I am when I'm speaking because it just looks a bit strange when the sounds of your mouth and your facial expressions doesn't really add up to what you're saying, even though the delay is only maybe 100 milliseconds or something, but 100 milliseconds are quite a lot. Now it should be around maybe 40 either way, too fast or too delayed. I couldn't quite manage it. It's a lot easier to sync it if you actually got, oh, first thing, a 30 FPS camera, which this isn't. I think this records in about 20 frames per second or something. I'm just looking at my screen now, trying to figure out the update rate of it, but it's definitely slower than 30. It would be awesome with a 60 FPS camera too. Like, that would be amazing. But I don't know what the market has for that and what it would cost and how much of a other visual upgrade it is. I might upgrade my webcam in a while, but not for a bit, not for a bit. But this is awesome to actually be able to hear myself properly, or a lot better now. It helps quite a lot. Now I can actually hear the sound a lot better, so I can play around a lot more with just improving my mic technique this way because I actually hear what I'm saying at the same time, not just really, really low in my ears. This time, actually, the amplitude is enough to be able to, like, it's stronger than my normal amplitude I hear from inside my head when I'm speaking. So now I actually hear my actual voice a lot better. And should make it easier for me to just speak overall better. But it might be distracting too, but I don't think so. I just realized right now that I need a de-esser, which I get disturbed about other YouTube channels, especially if they're professional. But the S sounds really are piercing. It's just something we can pronounce them very well, and it's also just a frequency that the human ears are quite sensitive to. Not the most sensitive, but definitely sensitive. It's a little bit too high pitched, but it's just something about that. It's around, I think, 8,000 hertz or kilohertz even, I suppose. Yeah. No? 8,800 kilohertz and 8,000 hertz. Yeah, that's right. I got a little bit confused. Sorry about that. Not know my kilos. But yeah, so audio should be better. The overall quality should be better, improved with that to actually have me speaking in sync with what I'm saying a little bit better. I've been fucking about with it and done it worse for a few, like 3, 4 videos, and now I try to actually fix it a bit more. But also, it's maybe it varies. It shouldn't vary, but maybe also uploading into YouTube might fuck with it a little bit because gets converted and it should be fine. It's for sure better than before at least. Yeah, I just came home from grocery shopping. I actually have money now, which is wonderful, but it's just the problem also with having money now is actually just seeing how fast money can disappear too. Just going grocery shopping, buying, not taking account to buy everything cheapest or just living on of minimum. It's something quite nice of living that way too. How much money you can actually save if you live that way. But it's also not a fun way to live because it's hard to get the nutritions too, and I don't know. It's worked fine, but maybe I should combine those lifestyles a little bit. I'm pretty economical of myself overall, but not super economical. I could get better at it for sure. A lot of things to improve from it. It's also it's just very interesting also seeing the beggars in the street. We have quite a lot of beggars now. A lot of them are from Romania because I'm sorry if you're Romanian, but it's a shit country. It's probably has great qualities too, but I've just heard that there's a lot of things that aren't quite right with that country, and one of them is just the gypsy hate. And yeah, so we have quite a lot of. There's a better word for gypsy. It's not the right word anymore, I think. I don't mean it in any disrespect, really, saying gypsy, but I don't really know the proper name for it. But yeah, so we have a lot of Romanians here. A lot of them are considered gypsies, I think. And they go here because, yeah, it's easier finding job, but also begging is more economical sufficient than having no job or resorting to stealing in Romania, which a lot of people need to do because they're a group of people that yeah are literally spit upon, like hated by a large part of the population, which is crazy. I'm no means of an expert, but I've also heard a little bit from some Romanian YouTubers and just otherwise a very fairly intelligent guy and stuff like that, but just how how insane the gypsy hate is. It's really scary to see that a fairly intelligent person just uh, being driven by this culture craze to hate on a group of people that have a real it's hard when also of uh, there's probably a lot of people that have gypsy background resorting to crime, but it's also because when you don't give are given any other chance, when people also see you as a thief and you won't get a job and people will say horrible things to you, throw rocks at you, stuff like that. It still happens in Sweden too. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with the wave of Romanians, mostly, but a lot of about the migration to Sweden overall. I don't think it's the best. They haven't done the best job with it. They taken in a lot of people and not been able to help them properly. And yeah, it's just we're a very small country, and I'm happy that a lot of Swedish people are happy to help out and try to, yeah, bring some people into our system, trying to give them some of the wealth we have. But it's also taking quite a toll on the country. Uh, I don't think it's as a big economical toll as people may think it is. I think it's more of a cultural toll. A lot of discussions and unrestness, unrestedness. People been very unrestful when it comes to the whole thing, because I think a lot of people see it as a bigger problem than it actually is. I mean, we've for sure taken in more people that we can sufficiently support. Well, we don't have a good system of actually taking care of people that have migrated to Sweden. It just doesn't work well with getting people decent jobs and learning Swedish and actually becoming one with Sweden, becoming Swedish, being considered Swedish. And I think that's a lot of the problem we have right now, is that people just how divided people are about the question, and the hate that have risen from it. I think that's the problem more than anything, the hate. Because even though we've taken in a lot of migrants, and we're sending a lot of people out too, which I don't think is the right thing to do. If you've actually let people into the country, open borders or not, they should be allowed to stay. One thing, closing the borders after they got in there, but kicking people out, that, I don't know, I don't think that's right. It's definitely not the right way to do it either, especially, yeah, it's just fucked up. Either they should have closed the borders earlier, or they shouldn't have let people come into the country. Throwing people out of a country where they might have been living for months or years, even. Sending them out from that little security, they might have been able to develop their life. It's just, it's not right. It's not the right way to go about things. And it's how our culture and our country is being driven. It's our, like, it could have been stopped earlier from people having to migrate here. But people waited, the politicians took way too long with it until it became a problem. More a cultural problem, as I said, but of course it affects the finances and also the amounts of houses, because there's enough places to live in Sweden, really, but neither the migrants or we have a lot of small villages, basically ghost towns, that are dying out because people are urbanizing the country, moving into bigger cities, leaving a lot of vast land behind. Also, it's because it's hard to find jobs around there, of course, but I don't know. We have enough room for people to live, really, but also people don't want to live in middle of nowhere where there is nothing, or barely nothing. But yeah, Sweden is in trouble in the sense of that I think people are unruly. People are getting irritated, annoyed, displeased with how the country is run in multiple ways. And there's a lot of sectors in the countries that's not working anymore because they're outdated, they doesn't work anymore, or they might even just become worse because neglect of improving the system, not be able to keep up with the times. Like jurisdiction, police forces, they had a huge reforming in Sweden lately. It's been working terribly. Our post office recently have a big reformation. It's been working really, really badly. Like a lot of packages get wrecked, letters disappears to out of nowhere. I've lost a few mails in just a short while, like 3 in a month that were supposed to reach me, so I can just, and that's the ones I know about that have gone missing. So yeah, it's just a fucking mess right now, and it's because Sweden's been living in the past. The country isn't in 2016 in a lot of departments. Our jurisdictions and our laws are based a lot from the 80s, earlier than that, 50s even, and people suspect that's going to work almost 70 years later. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a mess. It's a fucking mess. It's still a great country if you compare to a lot of other countries too, but it's by not any mean, like it's not top in anything almost. We have a few things going for us. We're quite equal between men and women. We still have a lot to go there. It's not by any means something we're done with, but equality is something that we've accepted quite a lot, but it's something that probably gonna take at least the rest of my lifetime to get better. The next generation even. I'm also affected by a lot of just how language is used, and I mean I'm not perfect either. I'm also shaped by this society, so but it's, yeah, a lot of sexism that people don't see, both towards men and women, and a lot of people are dumb enough not to realize that it's there. For them, it's just common practice. That's how things are. But that's such an ignorant and backwards way of saying things, not admitting that there's a problem or that things could be better, at least. Just because things are alright doesn't mean that we can stop to progress. That's what Sweden done. We've had it good, so we stopped progressing. And that's why the country is falling into despair in a lot of ways. Our education isn't anywhere as good as it were before. Our healthcare system is falling apart because it's just badly managed. Not enough workers on the hospitals. They're underpaid. They're overworked. People don't get the help they need. People do multiple visits to actually get the correct diagnose. Just being neglected basically before that. So yeah, there's a lot of essential parts that are fucked up in Sweden now. We also have a few areas in the country where cops can't enter, especially not alone if they need at least 2 patrols. But there's a lot of areas they barely enter at all because the criminality is so high, and there's a lot of rock throwing at emergency personnel. Firefighters, police, maybe even ambulances. I'm not sure. And That's also because how things haven't been treated properly. Also, how just the government treats people. People are pissed off. I mean, even though it's criminals, it's very highly areas with a lot of criminals. It's also a lot of people that are brought up there that haven't, yeah, that just live there simply. That's where they've ended up, and there's a lot of unrest. As like people, a lot of people don't believe in the police force. I don't do it myself. I got very, very little. I I believe in them. They exist in that sense, but a lot of the police don't make people safe. People don't feel safe around police, and they also are wasting a lot of time on the wrong things, like fighting the war on drugs when could be completely. It could completely be like they could kill it by just reforming the laws around it. Stop trying to fucking incarcerate people that have drug problems, or not even people that even aren't junkies but who just do drugs every once in a while. And yeah, it's just one of the biggest. We have a lot of big problem in Sweden, but when police force is losing control over the country slowly but surely because they're losing trust. People don't trust them. A lot of people don't, and then there's the other half that blindly are protecting them too. And I'm for sure on the negative side. I probably give them more shit than they deserve to, but not really. They deserve this shit they get. It's not. There's a reason for it, even though there's people behind that. There's actual people working as cops. The thing is, a lot of people take on the role of their job. They're not people anymore, or they change how they are as people because of what they're working with. Because what you're suspected or aspected to do, rather. And I think there's a cop persona in Sweden, a mask, a lot of people working. I think it's something almost necessary to do, probably to deal with the job, but it's not the right thing to do that they need to do it either. It's just people forget that there are actual people behind there. Like, even the cops themselves do it. I've seen it myself. Like, they aren't proper humans on the job. They try to be cops. And they follow a lot of rules that are fucked up and also swayed in a sense that also, even if they do wrong, there's so often they just get away with a slap on the wrist. Often not even that. And that also lowers the trust in the whole jurisdiction, like the whole system of law enforcement. When the judges too just are on the cop side all the time too, so people are pissed off about that too. But a lot of the problems that cops do what they do too is because, as I said, the jurisdiction is old. It's the police force is built up by people that are also getting old. A lot of old people controlling what you're supposed to do. And also a lot of people that are just fucking. I mean, you're no god just because you're a cop. You're just a human being. Yeah, that you had the for some reason wanted to become a cop. That doesn't fix all your flaws. There's so many flawed people. Everyone are flawed, and that includes cops. And people don't understand that, which pisses me off. That people don't understand that they're flawed themselves, that they're not perfect, that they can improve, and that our race and our societies, our culture are also flawed. They're not perfect. In 100 years, our societies and the human race is going to look back on so many dumb things we're doing right now. Like eating meat to the extent and how we treat animals today. It's something that it's not going to be acceptable in 100 years. It's not sustainable. It's just dumb. We've done it for too long, and now it's punishing the country or the whole world. But yeah, also a lot of scientists also we know a lot more than we can't control, we can change our means, our patterns, how we act and our culture fast enough to actually fit science. And we do a lot of stupid things that we today even know are stupid, but things do them, or people do them because they're convenient. I do a lot of things because they're convenient, because that's how I'm routed. I'm for sure one of the persons with less routine than most, but I mean, I'm not immune to routines or tradition or culture just because I have a little bit of an easier time seeing through a lot of that things. Uh, I'm quite happy that I have this gift, to some extent a curse too, but at least I can see through a lot of things that people just don't do. They just do it simply because they don't really understand existence. I don't do that either, but I understand it better than a lot of people. And I mean, it's just I think it's very sad one, but I guess that's also how I'm perceived when I'm actually in school doing. I'm also on the grind doing. Still following this society too. I pay with money. I'm educating myself. I'm in college. I'm still a part of the system, but at least I'm questioning it. And I think more people need to do it. Need to realize that this world could have been, it can be so much better if just people tried, if they just open up their minds a little bit, consider their actions, considered what they're doing actually with their lives. But it's quite depressing doing that thing, so that's why people resist, I guess. Like realizing that everything's made up, basically. Everything we do is very absurd. It's so insanely absurd that I'm sitting here doing this. And this is just a hobby of mine, something I do for fun, but it's a very absurd thing to do that I can actually sit here alone, talk to a microphone. Not even just that, a webcam too. I talk for 29 minutes and 20 seconds. I every day too. I've done it for 3 weeks, a month soon. Then just taking that piece of footage, uploading it to the internet where no one still watches it or very few people watch it, and I'm myself holding it isolated. I don't want a lot of people to see it really, which is also very strange behavior in itself, but I don't know, it's so insane that I can just upload this fucking video to the internet, YouTube even, and have it just drowned in millions upon millions of videos. And then someone can just randomly stumble upon this, just finding me talking about this kind of shit. It's fucking amazing. It's a really cool time we're living in. It's amazing. It's fucking incredible, but it's so strange. And it's just sometimes you need to appreciate just how fucking crazy things are. And understand that they're crazy, but still appreciate the fucking insanity of living. The insanity of educating yourself, speaking, be able to hearing, to be able to just exist overall. Just the plain, just existence at all, even of on just a fucking tiny organism, is even the existence of that is so incomprehensible. It's crazy, and then you multiply that, or just look at us, how fucking complex we are, how complex our world is, our societies, all the amounts of languages we speak. There's so many things. Like, it's so complex. Everything is so fucking complex, and we've made it a whole lot more complex than they need to do too. But it's also what's been driving us forward. But we could make it so much easier for ourselves. I'm sure of it. It's just very hard to see it clearly. We're just a hive mind. We're just one with the universe, with the society. We haven't chosen to take part of any of this. People just fall into it. Not even that. They just appear in this whole mess. And then you just go along with it, I guess. I mean, even just a piece of rock is basically the same. It's just matter too. We we are matter that for some fucking reason can perceive existence. We can actually perceive our existence. We can create things. It's fucking crazy, but I mean, we're not much different from a fucking tree either. We're just mainly carbon. Is that called carbon? Now I'm confused again. Coal? I'm confused about it. I can't find the right word for it, but I think it's carbon. Yeah, it's carbon, right? Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. I lost track. But it's just crazy. It's just insane. Existing at this planet, being just the fact of not having a choice. You don't have a choice. I don't have a choice in doing this. You may think that I have a choice in doing this, but I don't have any choices at all, really. I'm born as one I was supposed to be born. I just fucking appeared one day, and it's just everything is set out, really. The whole universe is set out. If you could actually calculate it perfectly, I think you could see the future that way. If you just knew exactly what were going to happen after. It's just very, very complex, and human actions may be perceived as something they themselves control, but they don't really, because we also get affected by everything that happens to us. Like, we don't have a choice in what happens around us. We're just made as who we are, and then we just go with it. We may think that we have choices. We can think about doing choices, but really it's already determined. in some way. Some things will affect you, how you, if you choose left or right, blue or red pill. But I mean, it's already decided which one you're going to take, because everything is predetermined, really. You don't have a choice. It's very hard for me to articulate my thoughts about it. I want to be able to do it better, but you don't really have a choice. Because the universe was in motion so much longer than any one of us have existed, or probably understands how long the universe been in motion. Especially if the Big Bang is actually a cycle that the universe just goes in cycles too. It just, yeah, we don't have a choice. People, because it just happened that the matter, the very complex amounts of matter have accidentally, just the fucking rock we're living on have just been in the right position, being built up by the right amount of things, being in the right amount of distance, getting enough heat. It's just, yeah, our, like, we're just a part of the universe. I'm rambling now, and I'm not saying this in a coherent manner, but I will think about this more, trying to be more concise about these thoughts, but they're very abstract, and it's hard to be concise and coherent when you're talking about something so abstract. At least hard described in words. Hmm. Well, this was a long one. Yes. Well, I'm going to get some food. I haven't eaten anything today. It's 6:25 p.m. I've been awake for like 4 hours. Had a hard time sleeping yesterday, but yeah, I need to go to the bathroom too. Need to urinate. Yes, now you know that too. Do as you wish with that information. Well, that's it. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. I've enjoyed this as per usual. Hope you did if you actually watched to this point. It's so interesting if someone will ever watch this. It's so possible too that no one will ever watch it, or maybe watch it, but the whole entire day of it. It's just, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for me and for you and for the rest of the universe. Well, bye.